Who are these people?
This is what I'm talking about, guys. Tommy Nation Politics. Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Tommy Nation Politics.
Control the means of production and the distribution of wealth. That's the main
No, no, no,
concepts
no,
behind
no,
it.
no, no, no. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Okay,
about
no.
no. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about the labor. I'm talking about
Yes.
a labor. I'm talking about a dude picking a pound of cotton, and
Labor, in my
I can
opinion,
sell,
labor
I
is
can
synonymous
sell, a pound of cotton
with
goes
means of
for a
production. It's the
dollar,
same thing, right?
right? No,
Labor
it's
equals
not
means of
means of
production.
production.
It's
No,
a
it's
means
the
of
market.
production.
No,
Wait, no, labor is not the
I'm
market.
talking I'm talking about money, right? I'm talking about money. I'm talking about
Sure.
labor. Yeah. I'm
No, no,
telling
those
you,
are different.
we're right. Money and labor. Hell, we're talking the same thing. We're talking about hell. Okay,
Sure.
I can
I think we agree.
trade. Hell, right. I can trade. Right, 5 hours for picking 10 chickens. We're just talking shit, right? And I can make some money
Thomas,
because,
welcome, Thomas.
right?
Hi, I didn't
No,
want to interrupt your conversation, uh, and I wanted to learn about what you're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about. But hi, how's it
Yeah,
going,
I was
guys? What about
welcoming you to
chickens?
the group.
What's up? What's up with chickens?
I'm hungry too.
but see, this is the
Socialism.
point. Listen, money, money is the what do you call it? That's the method of that's the freaking instrument of trade. Money
It's made
I
out
said
of.
is a
money.
trading a man's time. Listen,
It's putting value to a man's time.
trade. No, listen,
It's
the
putting
different,
value to
right,
stuff, right?
right. Here, a trade. I mean, a man's time is worth something, right? Right.
Um,
So the
just to
difference,
correct you, Zeke, it says in the
right,
dictionary that
right.
money is a commodity accepted by general consent as a medium of economic exchange. It has nothing to do with
That's
really
Yes.
right.
trade. In fact,
No,
it's
it's
not part of trade at all.
absolutely.
It's more of a
No,
general consent.
absolutely.
Well, it says
It's
in
a
the
tool.
dictionary. This it's just what the dictionary says.
That's a
It's a
tool.
medium
It's
of economic exchange. It's not about trade.
Right.
Otherwise,
Right,
I mean,
and
in a
otherwise,
a
broader
man's
sense.
time,
if it was about
a
trade,
man's
then
time,
we would
a
all have
man's
the exact
time.
same amount of it
Yes.
at
Shh.
first. Then we would
No,
have all the
a
exact same
man's
amount of it.
time,
At
a
first, it
man's
was about
time.
trade, but
Listen,
it's not about
see,
trade. See,
no, it's
go
absolutely
ahead.
about trade. A
No,
man's
it's not.
time is the most.
The
A
dictionary.
man's
The dictionary
time is
just
the
said
only
it.
thing he's got. A man's time is the only thing he got. A man's time is the only thing you can trade. I mean,
It's a
a
religious
Listen,
man's
Zeke.
song.
time.
A man's
Listen, Zeke.
time.
By Thomas
A
saying
man's
that money
time.
is part of trade, it's like saying a nail is a means of building a house. Yes, it is, but it's not by far the only thing that you need to use to build a house. There are other
Aren't you tired of
components
these
to the
conservatives
broader
just
thing.
like not ignoring the dictionary all the
Shit,
time? Swear to
we're
God, bro.
talking Marxism. Here we're talking de capital, man.
Mm-mm.
No,
If you can
I'm trying
define
to be
Marxism, I'll
more
give you $100 right
constructive.
now. Mark Zeke, if you can define Marxism, I'll give you $100 right now.
Wait, are you
Go.
serious? We defined it earlier. No,
Oh, well,
Marxism is essentially just
I
Hang
asked
on, let
Zeke.
me go to Google.
or the power of the people.
Yeah, I
Guys,
will
I
what
didn't
did
want to give
say,
you 100.
what
Hill,
did we ignore? When did we start ignoring the dictionary? When did
I
we
can't
start
say,
ignoring the dictionary, guys? Just wondering.
listen, Marxism's a story of Trotsky. And you read Trotsky, you read De Capital. Listen,
No,
until you've read
describe
De
the details,
Capital,
dog. No, wait, why people keep referencing things, but then they don't describe like what is the substance
Yes,
of it.
exactly.
the
Exactly.
story here,
Jesus.
the story, it's a
Okay,
story of
it's a
labor.
story, dog. Tell me the
Listen,
story. I'm
Sum it up,
That's
interested.
why
listen,
you
Proxy.
Give me the
shouldn't
list.
read much. That's
Proxy,
why you shouldn't
Proxy,
read
I'm
much.
right there with you, bro. I'm I'm right there with you.
See,
I'm just tired of
okay,
these people ignoring the
this is
dictionary
the
every
story.
single time and then pretending socialism means something else
Wealth,
or Marxism means something
money,
else. It's all
no,
because we're
money,
experience. And I
money.
grew up.
Listen,
I went up the hill with no shoes on. Why can't you?
money is the accumulation of labor. Okay,
Just making
money's
generals.
just nothing but the accumulation of labor.
It's a
Okay,
Labor.
so
commodity for
Okay,
okay, wait,
economic
wait.
exchange.
okay.
See,
No,
so there's
Zeke,
So
nothing you can
wealth
let's.
is
say
here.
or
We
do
So
call it
Thomas,
that's going
money.
to change
Could you
the
define
definition of the
Marxism
word.
for us? Thomas, could you define Marxism for us, like
I just
easier terms, so that
Marxism's
a
a
layman like
story,
me can
the
understand that?
reality, de
Who's talking?
No,
Who's
capital.
talking to me?
De
Just wondering.
we already
capital
heard your
is
we already heard your
hell.
answer, Zeke.
De
We asked
capital.
Thomas. Zeke, we asked Thomas.
So
Jesus
Thomas,
fucking Christ.
could you just
Yeah.
define it for us? Yeah.
Yes, I can define Marxism. Hold on. Let me get my dictionary out because I use my dictionary all the time to define words. Let me just get it out, okay? This is just what I'm saying,
Hold
All
on,
guys.
let me
right.
grab my
I'm just tired.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
I'm Tommy from Tommy Nation Politics, and I'm just tired of these conservatives. Just all they don't ever use the dictionary. They never fucking. They call socialism Marxism, communism. Marxism is a political and economic theory of Karl Marx
Okay.
and French Engels, later developed by the followers. They form the basis of the theory and practice of communism. Ta-da!
Yeah,
It's
Well,
not
that
fucking. It
actually
and it
doesn't
goes.
kind
lead to. It
that
doesn't lead to
So
fascism. It doesn't lead to
no.
fucking
Well,
socialism.
that
It's not fucking
but that
something that Biden's doing.
Tom
no,
None of
but
those
Tom
but
things are the right
but
answer.
that was a
communism does lead to socialism, right? Because it's more of a working kind of theory.
no. Of
No.
course, we talked about that,
That
but guys,
that
no,
well,
no.
that's an
What
opinion.
it led towards like what communism is today. It led towards like a bastardization of the concept of Marxism. Marxism has been like manipulated and filled in agendas, especially towards like tyrant kind of like populated like countries. You know, like monarchies and shit that had that history. So it's like describing what Marxism is much different than what communism is right now and what we exist with in the past century.
Yeah,
Marxism right
absolutely. You
now,
know.
like yeah, the original concept of Marxism was like he was questioning like what is the
Yeah.
value of people that make something, they manufacture something and it's in abundance, and then do they have the power to dictate where that abundance goes? No, someone takes the lead. He didn't think that was appropriate, so the power should be distributed amongst the people rather than someone
Yes.
being like a supervisor or a manager or a fucking CEO that owns a huge company that dictates where this goes that you fucking made. That's the whole
Yeah. I mean,
concept of
we literally
Marxism.
had a the guy that went off, the one that came in and defined Marxism the first time. He laid
Yeah,
out the
he
exact
was.
history of what happened. Is how Lenin kind of had a more pure Marxist mentality, and then Stalin basically took power from him and then decided that his version of communism, he bastardized it, and then we ended up with what ended up being like the Soviet Union's idea of communism. And
Mhm.
Well, guys, we
uh,
got like 8 messages. Did y'all know that?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
wondering.
that's,
I'm
but
sorry to
they're all
interrupt
from
you.
Zeke.
Yeah.
They're all from Zeke.
Yeah,
Yep.
we know
Oh,
that.
they
No, we
are.
got
Guys, I have a
Okay.
question. So,
Wanna play
every
them?
big catastrophe, from genocide to wars, has been done by governments. So,
Yes,
why
it
do you think
has.
the solution is more, let's just say, more authority and more control over the people? Obviously, would you not say that the logical solution is less government control or even no governments if we want to minimize conflict? Thanks.
well,
So
that's not a
I
that
hundred
was a good
percent true.
question.
I don't
It's
That
I
not
was
just
didn't
governments. There are
I didn't
Proxy.
tribes of people like the
advocate.
Tupi people.
I agree
Yeah.
with what you're saying, and you went to a very logical position on basically the supervisor aspect. But let me just tell you guys that from you say Stalin bastardized Marxism. United States has bastardized capitalism and turned it into crony capitalism.
Absolutely,
There's no
totally.
economic theory that exists today that our
Yeah.
governments have not bastardized, fucked over, and fucking like pretty much raped.
And
There's no,
fundamentally, it comes
and
down
that's
to
the
how
problem
corruptible they
with
are.
Zeke defining all of these things. He can't define money because he thinks in his USA world that it is trade, but in reality, it's a commodity for economic exchange in which the rich have 1% of the wealth, and I mean have 99% of the wealth, and the 99 have 1% of the wealth.
Yeah,
It's now
it's
because of that. It's now actually like It's changed already. It's changed again. Don't you think, guys?
I think it's allowed us to have
Historically,
more footing, though. Like, I think the one positive thing with capitalism is that socially we have a footing. We're not so, like, I think, indoctrinated towards the ideology. We have, like, this spark
Well,
that's
of
that's
rebellion
because of
within
democracy,
us.
though.
well,
Well,
I think
let's
that's
think
because of
yeah,
our
about this
democracy.
though,
what
because
is
we all think
democracy?
that the
But
Democrats
democracy
and
doesn't exist.
Republicans are different. In reality, Joe Biden
They're
is using
not.
Trump's policies in immigration. He literally is using Trump's policies in fucking
Yeah,
regime change wars, and
Yeah, we know that.
we're literally like they're the same party. So like,
that
how is it?
absolutely. It is no
How is
longer liberal and Democrat are no longer equals at all. They're
Yeah,
not
that's
even
another thing
close
that's
anymore.
changed. Liberalism. Liberalism is like life, liberty, and happiness. And that and now
But
it's changed
it's not at all
to a whole
Democrats
bunch of
anymore.
Karens
Democrats
trying
are
to
not
fucking
liberals.
mandate vaccines. So,
Well,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's a lot of politics, a lot of like
crazy.
sociological issues that
For
brings
one,
up.
I want to
Yeah.
make a
You're
quick point,
telling
if
me,
I may.
proxy. Go ahead, damn it.
Uh, I
Proxy,
think
that's not
I think
true because you have to be indoctrinated by capitalism to live here and function in our
We're fucking
society because everything is
indoctrinated every
controlled by
day by
capitalism. You have
all
to
of
go
them.
to the store, you have to buy things. You like the thing that you buy, you like Fruity Pebbles, you don't like Fruity Dino Bites, right? You like capitalism. Everybody has to participate in capitalism to survive here. So we are, by proxy, indoctrinated, no pun intended.
I agree
I
with
don't think
that.
he.
Indoctrinated
I
from
don't
sun
think
up
he
to
understood what
sundown
I was saying, though.
by the media.
No, the whole thing that he was saying, though. I wasn't supporting communism or
no,
Marxism or whatever. I'm
Well, you were
I
just.
pretty
think
much
it's
participating
at
Well,
the
in a
end.
could you
capitalistic
For
state.
clarify
I'm
that,
that though,
fine.
for
proxy?
that,
Could you clarify that? What were you
Yeah.
saying? What were you saying? Because I'm kind of
Oh no,
confused
it's
on what you're
just
saying.
like yeah, like his comment and stuff saying that it's like
I
I
think
believe in communism or
I think
something.
proxy is with capitalism. Like he doesn't have a problem with the system of capitalism. Like he would suggest some changes, but all over he is okay with it.
Nobody has a problem with
can
real capitalism. It's the crony
I make a
capitalism
point?
in which we bail out Wall Street every time they bet against the American people and then need bailouts because we're still going to crash. They're too big to fail. That's not
Can I make a point?
capitalism. That's a whole bunch of losers who rob the American people and their taxpayer dollars getting bailouts, and we're rewarding bad behavior.
But
We're rewarding
if you
bad
think
behavior.
about
That's
it,
not capitalism.
I like
if you
Can I
think
make
that.
a
about
point?
it, the only form of real capitalism is that which is at work right now,
Which is what? What is at work
because
right
the
now?
other one does not exist, right?
That which is at work right now. He's saying that
At work right
which
now
is
is
at work.
two parties robbing the shit out of us and killing our
Can I
brothers
make
and
my point
sisters in
real quick?
wars. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I make my
How
point
can
real
we
quick?
stop them then? How can we stop them?
Our founding fathers
Point of
used to fucking
order.
hang them from trees and tar and feather
What?
these guys. We're cowards though, and we
What?
listen to the media. But anyway, go ahead.
Wait, no, wait. Did you? Was your
Oh, I thought
answer
we're coming up with
violence?
solutions. Go ahead.
Yeah. Was your
Can
answer
I make my point?
violence?
Can I make my point?
Yes, it was.
Uh,
So was Thomas Jefferson's. Thomas Jefferson said, "The tree of liberty shall be watered with the blood of tyrants and patriots
No.
alike, for that is its
oh,
natural
Don't
manure."
try to validate your
Thomas Jefferson
ideology with
said,
someone
"Oh,
else's.
I'm not." I know,
I'm gonna win this
Oh
proxy.
argument
man,
by
you're
getting my
being so
quote book
cool.
out.
You're a libtard. I know. Go ahead,
I was gonna make a point.
please.
May I? Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Violence.
all
Go
right,
ahead.
please. I bang on my gavel. So what I was just gonna make a point about is it seems if you study history that the systems that tend to be the most successful are the ones that are least susceptible to corruption. Because if we accept the fact that we kind of have a tendency to lean towards corruption, once we get a little power, we just try to exert that power on the people around us, however many people that may be, however many people we control. That natural gravitation that we have towards that thus thirst for power inherently leads to corruption. And if you build systems that are corruption proof, you have a much more favorable success rate, it seems. And fundamentally, that can be kind of proven if you consider the tenets of communism as the Soviet Union understood it versus capitalism as it was adopted by the United States, wherein one political system is basically under the control of a very few selective amount of people who, as in the case of the Soviet Union, and that system when you put a lot of power in few people's hands, it's going to be more conducive to corruption developing within that system. And then conversely, with capitalism in the United States, when you have so many, combined with the democratic policies that we have, because we call ourselves a democracy, and I still call ourselves a
That's
democracy. Hey, no,
funny,
no,
right?
listen. You want to make the point of like constitutional republic versus democracy, and the
I
definition
think
of
we're in
it
almost
falls
a
under the
fascist
umbrella of a
dystopia.
democracy. That's a
We've been
democracy.
mandated.
Yeah,
We've
well,
been
I mean,
mandated to.
there are
We have
times
the
that I would
Patriot
agree with
Act
you,
in
bro,
full
but I'm
effect.
talking
We
like
have no due
realistically.
process. We have no habeas
I'm talking.
corpus.
I agree with
We have
you
no
on all
real
those
rights. We
points,
have the
but
yeah. So no
diagnosing something
democracy.
is different than coming up with solutions, right? It's like you got to
Diagnosing
understand what.
something. Well, first you have to
Why do we
diagnose
have those
something to
things?
come up with a solution.
Why did those
That's what a
things?
doctor
What are those
does.
fucked up? You're listing off fucked up things,
Right.
and I'm saying why did those fucked up things happen?
No, he's saying
Because
the exact same
George
thing. He
Washington
said,
said because
yeah,
two parties
don't
had
well,
usurped the reins of
yeah.
government and carved for themselves from the very engines that which brought them to unjust dominion. So it was pretty much our fault when we let these two parties take the lead and we didn't hold them accountable for their actions. We became partisans and we let them
You know
run
what's
amok.
funny?
Go ahead.
I thought of something the other day. Thought I was interesting. You know, this coming presidential election, I think we have a serious shot at a third party winning the presidency because in the scenario that I'm about to propose, this could very well be a possibility. Let's say Trump runs again, but the Republican Party doesn't accept him as their presidential nominee. He would, if he wanted to continue down that road, he would naturally go as an independent, right? And that would create a flood of current Republicans going over and becoming independent, which would essentially disintegrate the Republican Party and create
Trump
this
would never
ultra
run as an
nationalist.
independent, though. That would be bad
Oh, yeah, that's
ratings.
the question, right?
Trump cares
But
about
let's say in a
ratings.
scenario where he does, don't you think it's kind of weird that we have, like, we're coming upon a point where the concept of a third party winning in this country is actually very, very potentially very close if this nut job decides to run again? It's kind of interesting, I was thinking.
I don't necessarily think that that would be the case.
I think it's funny that it's a very likely possibility, in my opinion.
It's not
I
because
understand.
Trump hates like independence. He would never get any TV like screen
He
time,
ran he
and
ran
he would
twice as an
die.
independent before he became a Republican. He realized that the independents weren't winning shit, so he decided to become a Republican. He was an
Exactly.
independent. He ran as an independent, the presidential candidate in like every year up until the year he ran for president as a
And he was
Republican.
a Democrat lifelong, donating to Kamala Harris and all.
Who
You
Yeah.
she?
think the
So
economy
You
does
mean
better under
Hillary?
Democrats?
You mean
I
Hillary?
understand.
so
No,
what I
no, no.
think
I
is
mean,
is
if lesser of two evils argument, sure, yeah, yeah, I would agree with that.
Oh, the lesser of two evils is evil, so I wouldn't.
I think
But go
that's a
ahead.
bullshit way of going about living your life. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if you're asking me in that sense, yes, I would rather have a Democrat in office than a Republicans because
Yeah,
Republicans
this is
are
why.
fucking nuts.
So literally, you are fucking nuts. Do you know this president has literally fucking under his watch, Roe v. Wade overturned under his watch. A
Am
whole
I
bunch of people
advocating
have
for
died
Biden?
in fucking school
I'm
shootings
saying,
under his watch. You think that there's a difference? You think that he's
all
not
I'm
nuts?
saying that,
He's a
listen, if
Guys,
dementia-riddled
you got two
Dixiecrat
piles of shit
racist
and one pile is bigger
warmonger.
than the
Tom,
other, I'm
wait,
not
Tom,
wait, wait,
saying
wait,
you're
Tom,
not
wait,
gonna
wait,
No,
wait,
support
wait,
bro.
wait,
this
wait,
No,
wait,
bro.
conversation.
wait.
I'm
Okay,
done with
so
this
Tom.
so
stupid lesser of two
No, I
evils,
get
bro.
that,
This
guys.
is the shit
We
that's
don't have.
killing
I
us, bro.
listen, man.
This
I
is
said I was
literally it's
specifically not
poison,
making
bro.
that argument. I was
You
saying the
can't
only
escape
Well,
way I
you
evil.
was
just
making
said
that
Evil's here.
argument.
you just said the
Listen,
Democrats were not nuts when they're giving money to
I
Ukraine,
did not say
and
that.
there's
I said the
people literally about to
Republicans
be
were
evicted from their
nuts,
Guys,
houses.
guys, just bring it down again.
bro.
We
I
could talk
didn't
about it.
say. I
Different
said
ideologies,
Okay.
whatever.
Republicans were nuts, not the Democrats weren't nuts. You gotta stay focused here.
Oh, I'm
I
focused.
specifically said.
They're both
I
nuts and
you're trying to
traitors.
yeah.
put words in my mouth and saying I said one thing just because I made a kind of contradictory point doesn't mean I advocate for what you believe to be the polar opposite, and those are the only two options that exist.
So damn it,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to
Okay, so
get you. I really
when I
am.
say that I when I say if I can look at Bush, I mean I'm not Bush, well maybe Bush, but anyway, if I can look at Trump and I look at Biden, and they're obviously both pieces of shit, but one was really much more shitty than another, and in my opinion, Trump was way more shitty than Biden,
So
both
how is
currently
that,
and
please? How
historically.
is that?
Well,
Tell me.
he was very very blatantly corrupt for one thing. Now
It's
Biden
the
was
Blatantly
on the other
corrupt,
hand
like
performance.
did he
very
put his
corrupt.
son on an
Okay,
Well,
energy
yeah,
board in
please, I'm gonna
Ukraine?
cut you off at the pass. I'm
Just
not
wondering.
saying that Biden is not corrupt by making that statement. I'm going to cut you off at the pass there. I am
I just need you
saying
to tell me
that
quantifiably.
he
Okay.
was flagrantly. There's it's one thing to like murder babies, but it's another thing to hang them outside on your front porch. You know what I'm saying? It's 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 not, neither things are good. I'm just saying that he was rubbing it in our faces essentially. That doesn't just
Well,
show
what was he
a
rubbing in our
level of
faces?
corruption. That
Just
doesn't just
wondering.
show corruption in politics. It shows like evil, like pure evil
I'm looking
There
for a
is
tendencies, man.
there
specific
is
example.
okay
A
guys, wait,
specific
slow down.
example.
There was an
Okay, so how
insensitivity with Trump. There was an insensitivity with Trump. He would see came off like a dick all the time to a large amount of people, and he discriminated. He was blatantly fucking racist and sexist and all this other shit. It's less fucking obvious like with fucking Biden's administration, with him being just fucking maybe a little
I
suffering
would
from dementia.
I would
You
say
know,
he's probably
but it's
corrupt,
more
but
in
more definitely incompetent.
it's less offensive towards the majority, but both of it is a performance. It is just there is no capitalism, there's no democracy. All of it has failed years ago. We were warned about it by certain governments, but they got shot in the fucking head.
And George Carlin.
That's the state. Yeah, but I'm just saying that that's what you're trying to get across is that there's one more blatantly fucking offensive and the other one's not, but they're both fucking horrible human beings that are creating lots of problems for a lot of people.
So
Amen.
let me just tell you that I feel okay. This is how I feel, guys. I feel like that to say that someone was blatantly more obvious and racist, like who was against busing? Who wrote a crime bill? I think only white people can really say that Trump was even more like that because Trump had no wars. He started. Biden's in a
Trump
proxy
wasn't a
war. This
politician.
guy,
It's a
I know.
it's a
And
perform
by
no,
the
but
way, I'm not saying he's a corrupt. I'm not saying he isn't corrupt. I'm just
it's
saying that
pop.
like Biden is absolutely worse by all
But it's
quantifiable
pop.
metrics
You
and
know,
Uh,
polls
yeah, you know
and
that.
polls
Oh,
and
you
polls.
know him because you actually study history and you understand the political agendas that people have. Okay, but the majority is not you, because obviously
Okay,
we would have a different
you're right.
situation.
Correct.
Okay, so then you
But
have
how
to
does
have
that make
more
him less?
patience.
How does that make him
Well,
less
It
racist?
doesn't. No, you have to have more
wait.
patience and
So I'm not.
understanding towards what the process is. The process is popularity, and it's a show, it's a performance. Yet you get so upset because people aren't
I'm
thinking like
upset.
you.
No,
Yeah,
I'm upset
it's
because people
I
are
think
dying.
Thomas's
no, I
We're
point. I
literally
think
yeah, I
Thomas's
didn't mean it.
point
income
is that
inequalities.
currently.
Income inequalities. Nazis the
I
Gilded
didn't
Age
mean it
Jax,
like
well,
that.
are
Yeah, I said that wrong at the end, but
we don't
yeah,
have any due process because of the Patriot
yeah,
Act in full effect after 20 years. That's why I'm upset.
Jax,
yeah,
I'm not upset because people don't
you have
think
something to
like
say?
me. We're slowly
I think
losing our
Thomas's
civil
point
liberties. That's why I'm
yeah.
is
upset.
No, I
that
agree with you. I understand.
Thomas,
I
Proxy,
didn't mean to
Proxy, we got to
put that
mute.
down.
Let Jax go, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I mean, I think Thomas's point. It may not be his official point, but just because Proxy, you brought up in terms of like popularity. So, I mean, I guess just to say, like, as far as like Trump's polling numbers currently, because for some reason they still actually record polling numbers for presidents, like other presidents'
As if it
terms,
means
but
anything.
it's higher than Biden's right now. Just to clarify. Now, I don't want either in 2024. I would like to have somebody different.
Polling
But
is bullshit to begin with.
add
It's
that extra information there, I think is
yeah,
important.
but polling we know to be so flawed anyway. What's the point in even incorporating into an argument between a former president who's probably, hopefully, not going to be president again, and a current president? I mean, former presidents shouldn't even
Because
be in
it's
the picture. They're not
well
even.
for him,
Well,
it's
I
possible.
understand that. It's just he's capable of
Yeah,
running again, so
yeah.
that's what makes it relevant.
And also,
That's all it
Biden
is.
is literally destroying the country.
Yeah, well, he's being apathetic and he's being useless, basically. I wouldn't
He's
call that
being a
necessarily ruin the
fucking
country.
pussy ass
He's not
dick
doing
who can't
anything to
even get his
fix
own
the fucked up
Build Back
thing.
Better agenda through the Senate.
For all the things Trump left in ruins, there's Biden made these big ass fucking speeches about fixing not only those problems, but fixing like pie in the sky problems that liberals are all talking about. And then he just fucking died right after he got elected, not even making any attempt to be any way progressive, and in
He never
fact,
was progressive.
kind of doing a lot of Republican shit. I mean, it's if you say that I need to support Biden to be a Democrat, I'm definitely not calling myself a Democrat. I don't anyway. And the Democratic Party is no longer you can't consider them liberal anymore, man. They're like middle. and then they're only moving to the right. The left solely
That's not true.
consists of progressives, of true progressives, and the Democratic Party isn't that anymore. I don't care what you say. It's like it's moved way right.
Or
It's moved to the
radicalized on
it's moved to
both
the
ends.
donors. It's moved to the
No,
one
we're
percent that own more wealth than the bottom 90% combined.
Exactly,
guys,
it's
we're
the wealth.
radic.
You're right. It is
No,
absolutely. It is.
everything's getting radicalized in left and
It's
right.
because we've had
You
two
know, that's
parties for
why.
so long. These guys have gotten rich over the last couple hundred years, and now that they are rich, they solely like they've got a monopoly on politics essentially in this country. The both of
So,
them.
Yeah.
Proxy, what else
And
is left besides violence? Just wondering. Just wondering. It's a question.
Huh? Oh no, violence is
What
inevitable.
else?
Violence is
What else?
nature.
Yeah, exactly. What else is
Yeah.
left besides violence? I mean, we should
Oh,
really tar and
the
feather these
greater
guys.
mind. I think our
We really
oh
should.
true evolution
oh
of our mind.
I thought you were saying left as in left and not left. You know, like that's cool. That's a good question.
Yeah. No, I don't
Yeah.
think tar and feather's the answer. Maybe in the sense of like it being funny. I think that
Well,
like there's something else that has evolved in us in our sentience, and that's something that's compassionate. I think the great depths of what we can do as humans is going to be psychological. It's not going to be something that's the true warfare, and that's been the warfare that we haven't been fighting as a majority. You know,
Preach.
we've been fucking dicked around by these assholes that have found their place and dug their claws very deep in us, and we don't know how to fucking escape it. And they're flying us wherever the fuck they want to go.
If
And
I
we
was
could
able to
take
make those little
charge.
clappy things happen, I would.
Well, you know where it's going to start. It's going to start with us learning how to fucking like understand each other and really communicate and add to like something that's bigger than all of us instead of our egos.
Yeah.
but we
I
have
got
two
something to
parties
add
that
to
don't
that.
want us to communicate with each other or understand each other.
But
There's
you're
Well, of
advocating
power
for a
course.
non
to not do
for
that.
dissolution
They're
of
Well,
those.
of
We're
doing
all
everything
course.
they
saying let's
can.
dissolve these parties. We're all saying let's dissolve these parties. We
I
all
know,
agree on
but
that.
I'm just saying they're a problem and they have power and they literally fight it with the
Yeah.
media.
Pause. Like
They use
pause.
media
Well, so
propaganda
I'm
to all
saying, oh no,
divide
I'm
us.
saying that we could do it
So
the
it's like,
same way that we've always. No, like I agree with you. We can, Tom. We could do it the same way we've done it for years. We could fucking overturn this shit. We can create a rebellion. We've done that over and over and over. Maybe we can do it. I'm saying just a possibility that our minds are capable of something different, like using their tools against them. Like even earlier, Balloon was talking about media. Media is the biggest thing. We're communicating on it right now. This is social media. You know, something's
I like how
changing.
optimistic you
Something's.
are, Proxy. I'm
Thank
sorry for
you.
calling you a
It.
libtard. I'm sorry about that.
And you're welcome, Proxy.
Ah, dude, I don't
For,
take offense. Yeah. Hey, you gotta fucking laugh at yourself before you can laugh at anyone else. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty libertarian. No,
Libertarian.
I'm kidding.
Sounds like some kind of
Yeah.
Star Wars shit.
I've
In
watched.
India,
I've watched a few
there is
episodes.
another word
Lieutenant
for
Tony Libertard.
libertard. In India, there is another word for libertard. It's librandu.
Mm,
Interesting. Does it mean something differently
Do
yeah.
you
than
guys put
Yeah,
ndu
liberal?
at the end
it's
of
sort of
things?
an abuse, like liberal gandu. And now gandu
Yeah.
is someone who was born out of an asshole instead of
There you
vagina.
go. That's a good one.
Ah,
That was
Joe
a good one.
Biden. Mm.
So,
Do you put Andu on everything that you want to make an abuse?
So,
so librandu.
Proxy, I was going to add something to what you were saying. So, I mean, as far as what I'm concerned with, is it's just, I think a lot of what the issue is, across the country is sort of this unconscious issue where people are, they have this idea where culturally what we should do is just basically just re-elect our dictator every 4 years and then, legislate everything under the sun from the federal level, and then just cudgel someone that they don't believe in culturally or religiously or whatever, in whatever way, just cudgel
Yeah.
them into conforming to their own form of culture. And ultimately, what this, the reason for this has been simply the bastardization of our 10th Amendment, as to where nobody really cares about state politics anymore. Nobody wants to, grant, or at least the federal government feels like, they should just take over what the states should be able to legislate over. And the thing is if anybody wants anything, like if let's say you want free college or you want free healthcare or you want whatever, the only way for that to effectively be able to work stably, like for example, if we're talking about like Denmark or Sweden, the reason why they're able to have free healthcare is because they
Yeah.
have two main things: an extremely small population for them to be able to regulate, and extremely strict border laws so that they can
Yeah.
regulate how many people are there in that country at a time, so they can successfully be able to have that. And just so you know, people still have to pay deductibles there. So I mean, it's not like they actually have free college, or I'm sorry, free
Yeah.
healthcare. And it's not much. They don't pay much. It's still very inexpensive. Don't get me wrong, but that's because they're able to control their population. So, for example, Alabama has 5 million people. Roughly the same amount of people in Denmark, for example. But we don't have like full ranging state run healthcare here. However, our cost of living and our what is it? The gross, I think it's what is it? Gross personal income is what's
Hmm.
referred to. It's
People are
basically
into sodomy there. It
sorry,
seems
what?
Yeah.
like.
Oh,
No, go ahead.
sorry.
Finish.
Yeah, but anyway, I was just going to say that. So pretty much every state, all 50 states, they have pretty much an average as to what your dollar costs, and then they all average to what the dollar costs across the United States. So, for example, Mississippi is number one. So it's like it before the inflation, if you paid $1, you actually had about $1.20.
Yeah.
That's why everything there is relatively inexpensive. Same thing with a bunch of other different southern states. So what it means is that you can actually really get what you want in your state if people were to focus more on electing, like, I mean, your friends or your family or whatever. I mean, there was a trucker, just some rando trucker, I think in what was it, New Jersey? I don't know, it was some New England state, last election, and they spent only like $100 or so on their entire campaign, and he won. He won. I think it was state. He won some sort of a state congressman seat. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But he did that because nobody wanted that establishment guy that was in there anymore. And I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if people were to focus more on their state, focus more on the 10th Amendment, and stop bastardizing it, and just trying to focus on electing our dictator every 4 years, then we can
How do
actually
you
get
think?
something done.
But like, do you think that you guys are affected by lobbyists or like anyone that like has an agenda that's connected towards funding that would maybe silence the other party that would lead you guys in the right direction in states? Like,
Give me just 1 second. I'm going through the gate. I'm going to
yeah,
work. I'll be. Give me like a minute.
yeah, no worries, no worries. That was no, that was really
I,
interesting though.
no, that was a very good point.
So
But I think one
Yeah,
one
no,
point
I'm sorry.
I'd like to make regarding what Jack said. Very one of the very last things he said is that shoot uh man it's not oh that anti-establishment mentality is a net positive kind of a way to go about doing this, and I would argue that if you automatically, regardless of critical thinking about the specifics of the situation, if you naturally gravitate towards anti-establishment mentality, it could just lead to a never-ending cycle of basically spinning your wheels, because you could you could be anti-establishment if you build up a rhetoric that you are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to adopt those behaviors once you do get into a position of power. I mean, case in point being Biden and Trump and a lot of other presidents that we have.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused with that statement.
Yeah,
I
because it
I
was it was plain as day that Biden was not anti-establishment. He was the establishment. And how did
well,
Yeah.
he say
yeah,
it
Yeah.
about Trump? Trump said he was
no, well, then
anti-establishment, and then he
forgetting that
continued
example I made,
all the wars, and
I
then
was
he
mainly
took
saying
out Soleimani, and then he put Steve Mnuchin in his treasury. Then he hired Mike Pompeo. Say that about Trump. But
that's the point I was making, is that we can get
yeah,
wrapped up in the anti-establishment mentality to the point where always arguing and never really making any effective change is what I was really trying to say.
I
that
see.
really is
Okay,
establishment, though.
yeah,
That's the whole
I
point of the
agree with.
establishment
No,
is
what
to
he was trying to.
argue and
Well,
not ever get anything done. That's because
well, wait,
arguing
Tom.
is the thing, is the key,
But
isn't it?
but there's
Tom, you
always
have a
going to be an
a
establishment, isn't
lot
there?
of energy, and I love it. I fucking love the energy. But let's try to
I
like.
have a
He
live stream
did
tonight,
have
guys. I'm trying to work out. By the way, y'all are all invited if you all want to be guests.
for sure, for sure. Thank you.
Cool.
No,
Cool.
but like the
Send me an invite.
focus, like his. his endpoint was, it was on point. We all agree with it. It's like we got to let go, like maybe a little bit more like endearingly, maybe more like empathetically. It's like
I was proposing
getting
caution,
mad,
basically.
at like when people say things dumb, or maybe when they say things not dumb, but in their own way, because
I'm
we
not mad at
perceive
anyone
when
but
we,
these Democrats and Republicans, guys. We're all
but then
friends here.
express it that
We
way.
got to do something
Express
about them.
it
We
that
got to
way.
do something about them, though. And
Yeah,
they're that's
because
the establishment, but they're the establishment, right? So,
yeah,
and to be truly anti-establishment, one must not be a Democrat or Republican. Correct? Right? Logically.
that is
I
logically
would
it's
agree
correct.
with that. I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
would
found it
sort of agree with
interesting that
that.
that theory that I had about like the possible uh, crazy overthrow by the third party system, by the third party the first time, that uh, that wishful thinking that I was thinking. It's funny. That's why I was saying it's like
you know,
possible that that could happen. Do you
but
disagree
what
with
we
that?
got to think though is that like if we're really going to change, a majority of people are going to be Republican or Democrat. And you
Yeah,
can't like just
yeah. If
say
there was a wild
you're
card, like let's
dumb.
say a Donald Trump, who does
I
some
mean, they are
wild
though.
shit,
No,
and he makes
yeah.
like a mass flee, like a a white flight from the Republican Party over to this third party that's now Trump party. That would be a
I'm
little
going to
funny,
take a
and
leave,
it
guys.
wouldn't be
Bye
the
bye.
right way for things to
Yeah.
turn out
All right,
necessarily.
Balloon. It was really
I wouldn't
nice
wish for it, but
talking to you.
Balloon.
it's
You
yeah.
Didn't
too.
get to know you, bro, but I followed you.
Likewise, man. Good to talk to you. Good points.
Bye bye. Take care.
You as well. Okay, what madness were we talking about again?
Guys, we can't
I was
just.
just saying I
I
find
know
it
that everybody wants to be
find it
nice and you
interesting.
can't say people are stupid, but guys, we're at a point right now where income inequality is not ceases the Gilded Age. Evictions moratoriums are looming. We've got inflation up the ass. We've got a country that's literally teetering off the edge of a precipice, and we all need to start talking the truth, and we all need to start maybe being a little bit less nice. If that
I
was
don't
it,
think it's
that
gonna
was
work
one
that
thing
way.
about Trump. Well, that's one thing about Trump that I really did like. Okay, maybe he was an asshole, but he did say some things that needed to be said. He said some things about China, our military-industrial complex, and Wall Street does not need to get bailed out every fucking 5 years, guys. They're betting
We
against
I would agree
create,
with
inflation,
you
all that.
see,
and
we
they're
create
in
more
tandem with the banks
damage
to foreclose on
with
housing.
aggression.
We need to
Like think
stop
about our
being.
no, but think
Yeah,
about our psychology. Like think about like the oppression that we feel, like even like the simplest form of it as we like mature as adults. If we came from a family that had parents, either be it one or two or however many, the parents that raise us, there's a dichotomy that happens where we start having our own opinions and we feel controlled. And that dictatorship is something that we rebel against. And that happens, that evolves into a state of policy and politics. These are all the things that we should really observe. And our tendency is to battle against it. What happens? No one ends up happy. Damages happen, mistakes happen, and we keep repeating that. We have to think something is different. How do we respond? It's usually through understanding, it's usually through a level of comfortability. And we have to learn how to build that comfort because we leave everything as the unknown. All of us don't know each other. We want to, and if we did, we'd probably like each other.
I agree with all that, guys. Proxy, you're a nice guy, bro. But the tree of liberty shall be watered with blood and tyrants, for that's your manure.
Yeah. Real
So,
quick,
guys,
I have
I
to
have a
head
live
out.
stream.
I gotta go to work.
Yeah, I got a. So I have a
Yeah.
live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Go on www.dominationpolitics.com. Hit me up if you want to be a guest. We can continue this conversation, especially you,
All
Proxy.
right.
I want more of your optimism. Hit me up, bro.
Oh,
But I
thanks.
gotta go.
Of course.
It was a fun
All right.
take care,
conversation,
Tony.
and don't
Yeah,
let
take
Zeke
care,
back
Tony.
on here again. Bye.
It was, yeah. Nice meeting.